that is great work physically on the body and particularly body and mind. So now tell us what, because I know there's some neat stuff coming up in your life. So tell us what happened. What had, because I consider that more like a gestation period in your life. So what happened? What came from that? What flourished from that?
Actually, a lot of things came from that. Spiritually, it was an amazing time I had with my teacher, Eric. I spent some time apart from everybody at, how is it called? In Magog. It's a church. It's like
a monastery?
Yeah, a monastery. It's called... C'était l'Abbé Saint-Paul. Yeah, c'est ça. L'Abbé Saint-Paul. Yeah, anyways. That was really actually revealing for me to actually not talk for a week and to be apart from everybody. It just showed me that things were empowering in me. And actually, things were actually happening at that moment because a week later I was getting my job with Brian Robinson with High Trainer, which is basically a company that promotes high-intensity training. And one of our big machines is the Pro 100, which works anaerobically the body.
That's great, yeah. Brian has really been working on that baby that, he's been working really hard the last few years trying to get that up and going. So you embarked on his journey to help him. So you're like his number one trainer. You get on that thing and they videotape you and they hook you up.
I guess we could say that. The funny part is because a week later I was going to Texas. When we went to Texas, me and Brian are seen as almost like gurus over there, sports gurus, because for some reason, we bring up things that people just never thought of, and we're just talking about it like it's a normal everyday thing for us.
Like
but
what?
For them, it's just the way they see the training aspects of it. Most people, you would think, in professional sports train professionally, and they have all types of new ways of training, but actually it's all basics and probably old mentalities. There is a few people out there who understand what we understand about training, but it's not necessarily developed for some reason. Why exactly, we don't know.
So what makes you guys different?
So one thing that actually happened over there is that we showed people how measurability was a big thing in training. So what you have is weights. So let's say you lift a certain amount of weights, a certain amount of time, then you have measurability. But when it comes down to running, how do you know if you're really running? How do you know if you're pushing yourself? How do you know if something's going on?
On a cardiovascular level?
Yeah, on cardiovascular level. What I mean by there is if you run a certain distance, yes, you've run a certain distance, but how long did it take for you to run that distance, and how many times can you reproduce that amount of distance you just did in the same amount of time? So the machine that we had just promoted shows you how to keep that intensity, that pace at a given time. So you would go, let's say, 3 or 4 times at a given pace that you have to keep up, and it will show you how you're working, the intensity level you're working at, and etc. But people didn't seem to understand that when you're making your players run on the field just to do cardio work, they're not actually working out. All they're doing is, I'll go as hard as I feel today, and whatever happens.
So you basically want to train so that you improve your performance each time you're.
Yeah, you don't want to be extra. You don't want to do extra training for no reason. You want your workout to be efficient every time you step into whatever. It's a field, if it's the Zumba, if it's whatever. You gotta be. It's like in life, I guess. If you wanna go somewhere in life, you have to have intensity. Whatever you're doing, you have to have intensity, or else I don't think anything's gonna move. It's mostly the same thing.
Desire and intensity. Yeah.
So we actually measure those types of things, and it's more complicated than what I just explained, but the main thing is intensity and measurability.
Okay. And were you talking about alternatives of anything, like doing some martial arts, or was that just focused on the machine there?
For when we went to Texas, the main focus was on the machine. It was to promote promote the company and stuff like that. But as people saw, I was doing weird things and lifting big rocks that nobody could lift. And anyways, it was a funny thing.
Who is this guy?
Yeah, that was the look I got. I was standing on my head on the cement, and people wouldn't understand what I was doing, you know.
Yeah.
But that was just a part of my training, so I had to do it every day.
Okay.
And it kept me going. But people thought I was really weird, or actually really cool, and it was funny. We had a good time.
Very interesting.
So, yeah.
Very interesting. And before we get into something deeper there, I would just like to let our audience know once again, CIDI 99.1 FM. You're listening to The Alternatives. You have choices. And let's get back to Felix. And what else happened in Texas when you were showing this machine?
So as I was doing my job, trying to sell machines and stuff, having fun.
Did you sell any?
Standing on my head. I saw. We sold probably more than what we ever thought we were going to sell. Anyways, it was fun. So here I was around old players like Azuma Okeke, who played for the Alouettes, Ben Cahoon, Anthony Calvillo, who works with us, was there. Jim Pop was there, the general manager of the Alouettes, and more players. Anyways, so one of the players that I admired when I was a kid, it's called Uzuma Okeke. He's a big guy. He's really, really funny and fun. He told me, "Why don't you show me the machine?" So that's what I did. And we have this protocol on the machine that's a 40-yard dash, which is used to test the athletes. Usually football athletes are tested among various things, but that is one of them. So I ran a 4:42 time, which is mainly really, really good for.
What's the average?
Average is probably, depending on the size of the people and stuff, it's probably 4.6, 4.7. The best players do 4.3s. So as I was saying, for me, 4 and 2 was remarkable. Certainly for Jim Pop, who looked at me with some big eyes.
That's the general manager?
That's general manager of the Alouettes. So he asks Brian, is this machine for real? Did he really do that score? So Brian goes, yeah. And then you have Anthony Calvillo tapping on Jim Pop's shoulder and saying, you know what, Jim Pop, you need this guy on your team. Wow. So there I was. I step off the machine, and Jim Pop's asking me, "You mind special teams? You like playing special teams?" So I didn't know what just happened. You know, I saw my score, but so I go, "Yeah, of course." I was actually when I was in university, I used to tell my buddies that special teams were one of the most fun parts of football because you could just have fun and not think too much about the plays and stuff. So he's like, "Well, buddy, you just made yourself a spot in the team." So. I spoke with the guy that's in charge of recruiting all the players, and I should be going there in June to make my spot.
Fantastic. That is so exciting. Yeah. So what could this lead to, you think? I mean, there's no guarantees, right? You can just
so what happens
go train with them and
yeah, of course.
Or train them.
Yeah, I'm going to train them and work with it.
Because something we forgot to mention is that you are a personal trainer. You're a certified personal trainer, and you give out programs to people. So you've got quite a...
So as I was trying to understand who I was in life, training for me was always a big aspect. Trying to always modify my trainings, trying to understand what they have, what kind of effect. Seeing professional athletes or just professional gurus as Qigong or Kung Fu work it out, I was trying to understand what they were doing and how they were doing it, and to combine all the best things. Mm-hmm. So as I was trying to find myself a way, I decided to go in fitness and professional training, because it was actually something I liked to do. Mm-hmm. So I studied and I gave programs. I had fun with people. And there I was. My life was just changing because I was going to get a new job where I could combine fitness, sales, and just going around the world selling machines. So it was,
So this summer you might be in Montreal.
I might be in Montreal playing with my friends, my buddy Anthony Calvillo now.
That's amazing. So what's the first step? You can go to the training camp and then...
you got the training camp in June, where it's probably lasts about 2 weeks. You learn the plays. If they like you, they keep you. If they don't like you, they send you back.
So if you survive